Hello again. Today we're going to tie this Leech pattern. This is a pattern I use mostly in the winter, both in the still waters and in the rivers too. It's not too difficult to tie, and there's only really two materials: this peacock coloured angel hair and black rabbit strip. So I'll explain everything else as I go. So in the vise, this is a partridge hook. It's a nymph long and it's size 8. The thread I'll be using is Danville's flat waxed in 210. Now, the reason I'm using 210 is because I'll be using a dubbing loop at the thorax area of the fly. And I just prefer using a stronger thread when I'm making a dubbing loop. It's just really light threads. If you spin them too much, they will just snap on you. So now I'm going to take a little pinch of this angel hair, and I'm just going to wet it and roll it to try and get it to behave itself a little bit while I tie it in. And I'm going to tie it in on top of the hook, opposite the barb. Come on. Grab that. And I'm going to come up the body, a body length basically. Try and keep it on top as much as you can. There we go. And I'm going to fold the rest back, and I'm going to just wrap back in open spirals. There we go. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Length, it's about a hook length in length, and I cut it at a taper just so it does exactly that. It tapers at the back. It just looks better. Now we're going to take my rabbit strip. I'm going to plonk him on top. I've already got my length and I've already parted the hair. Just wet it, make it behave itself. Come over with your thread. Just have a look. 3 turns, and I'm going to put a tinsy wincy bit of super glue on the thread, and I'm going to come around with 2 more turns and then lock it off in front, and then just leave this rabbit strip out your way somewhere. Okay, and there we have it. Now we're going to come back to the angel hair, and we're going to dub the body with it. It's quite a long fibre this, so it takes some dubbing on, but we will brush this out slightly, not much, because there'll be a little bit of this at the head of the fly, which we'll be brushing out more of. They're a very bland thing, a leech. It's just black, really. Right, I'm going to come in. I'm going to come up the body, keeping it even as you can. There we go. I'm going to get that rest on. Oh, it's going to come back. I'm just going to tighten this up a bit. Angel hair can literally go everywhere, as you can see. Okay, I'm just going to tidy this up. Now I'm going to bring this over, and we're going to tie it in. Give me a little back on the fly. Just going to get this right. I'm going to wet the fibres. I'm going to come on over, tie that off. And again, I'm going to check. And again, oops, 2 turns, 3 turns. A little tiny bit of super glue, lock it off at the front. There we go. Now I'm going to come in with some mega sharp scissors. Try and get... Sometimes actually I do use a razor blade there to cut it off really neat. And now we're going to just have a bit of a tidy up here, because we're going to be wrapping a dubbing loop on there. You will have a bit of a step, but don't worry about it too much. I'm going to wax my thread. and I'm going to try and come up onto that step. There we go. Right, now I've already put some of the rabbit fur in this bulldog clip. Okay, so what I've done is I've stood the hair on its end. Right, let me see if I can explain this. Put the hair on its end like that, and then clamped the hair itself with the bulldog clip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dubbing loop. I'm going to come around with the dubbing loop, and my thread there, and now I'm going to reinforce wax in this dubbing loop. You can use like softer wax or liquid wax. I'm going to take my dubbing spinner, pop her in. We're going to pop the hair in. I've got to keep this level, so you might not actually see what I'm doing here, but I'm putting the hair in like that, and I'm trapping that hair between the thread. And now I'm going to spin, and you can probably in the background see it spinning. Right, I'm going to spin it up. I've got a little bit caught up here, don't worry about that. Right, I'm going to spin it up. This is where you need the strong thread, you see, because you don't want it snapping as you do this, because that's just ball ache. Right, once it's spun up enough, you can feel when it is, because it starts really fighting at you. We're going to brush it out like that. We've basically made a brush, really, haven't we? So I'm going to wet it, and I'm going to push it all back rearward. Move everything out my way, because I've done quite a long dubbing loop. And we're just going to palmer this. Just going to palmer this up the shank. Okay. When you've got enough, which I have there, yep. I'm just going to try and part this hair. I made the dubbing loop a little bit too big, but don't worry about that. Just going to part this hair. I'm going to come in front. Sorry if my hands are all out the way. And then come behind that bead. Right, we're going to come in nice and tight. Snip that dubbing loop free. Always take it off your spinner as well. There we go. Brush everything back. And make sure this is all tied in well. There we go. Out. Caught my hand on the finger there. And there you go. Now we can brush it. Just like that. And there we go. Now we're going to go back to our peacock angel hair. And we're just going to put some dubbing in front, just to neaten it up really, and give a little bit of a sparkle up the front. So a nice turn. I'm going to tighten it up. Tighten it right up. It's got a little bit too much there, so I'm just going to get rid of some of that. There we go. Come forward. And now we're going to varnish the thread and come straight in with a whip finish. Keeping the thread tight. You've always got to keep the thread tight, because if you let it go slack, it'll all go a bit peak-tong. Right. Trim. I caught a bit of the angel hair there, didn't I? And there we have it. And then the last thing to do is just come in with your brush. I've got a wire brush here. It's like a wire pipe cleaner. Does the job really well. We're going to really brush out a lot of that angel hair, and then get my toothbrush, brush it all back. Once you caught a couple of fish, they always sort themselves out, but brush it all back. Whoops, come on. And there we have it. There is my little winter leech pattern. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you have, please hit that like button. And if you can think of any flies you'd like to see me tie, then please leave me a comment and suggest those. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Hit the little bell notification and you'll get notified of when I upload a new tying video or a new fishing video. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.